Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the This Is Gonna Hurt podcast with Jay Gordon Duncan. And if you're wondering why the J, the answer is I'm not a bagpipe player. And if that joke doesn't make any sense, I encourage you to check out episode 0, where I explain that joke, as well as the purpose of the This Is Gonna Hurt podcast. Now, the purpose of this podcast has had several iterations over the years. Presently, we're just here to help you create a better you. We focus on personal growth, addressing things like fitness, personal growth mentally on that side. For the business marketing side, on Wednesday, I have the Capitalize Your Best podcast. And as I keep saying, I'm touring around with that Friday entertainment podcast that I used to have with Emma called You're Entitled to Your Opinion. We might turn that back up again, but I have not decided. 3 podcasts is a lot to keep up in a week. But here we are at the This Is Gonna Hurt podcast. Thank you so much for joining us as always, as we continue each week to put out episodes. And the setting here is a little bit different. Typically, you find me in the office, usually with my running cap on and my running jacket, like on a Saturday or a Sunday. But I'm doing some traveling this week and my schedule's changed. And also, typically, I like to do the podcast right after my long run. Well, I had to move my long run to Friday morning because I'm traveling. And so now I've got a little bit more casual business attire, and I'm recording this on Friday because I'm not going to be able to record it on Saturday or Sunday morning. So here we are. So still right after my long run, I got a nice half marathon this morning in. Very thankful for the Achilles holding up. And now we're going to tackle the fun issue of AI and personal development. But before we jump into that, friends, you're listening to this either on Sunday or Monday, I imagine. And I want to encourage you that on Tuesday, I believe it is Tuesday, the 15th, in downtown Fredericksburg at Gin Tani Wellness Collective, I'm holding one of my Capitalize Your Best life seminars, and we're going to be focusing on the topic of who's in charge here. And we're going to talk about one of my passionate topics, which is brain training, brain development, growing your brain, and those kind of things. Something that I've been passionate about ever since my epilepsy journey. And it's a central part of what I do, both personally and at professionally, my work with Capitalize Your Best. It'll be Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. There'll be a small social afterwards. The registration link will be in the show notes. So I greatly encourage you, please join us for that on the 15th. I cannot wait. These are intimate, fun gatherings limited to about 10 people. There's a small cost, $20.25. See what we did there. And so if you are local, please join us. There is not an online option, so join us if you will. I'm still drinking my morning coffee, if you do not mind. Not uncommon here for the podcast. But I want to talk about AI and personal development. So the usage of AI is just exploding. We have not even begun to tap into the capacity or the uses or the abilities. And in this podcast and in my Wednesday podcast, twice now, I have interviewed my mindset AI that I created through Instagram Meta. And I do have a mindset AI that I speak to often if I'm feeling unfocused, or if I need an affirmation, or if I need to talk through some things that are mindset related. But I have recently moved more into AI for my running. So I have a running coach now, and they all name themselves. I don't do this. So my running coach's name is Curly. I can change that. I could change it to a guy's name, girl's name. I can change the pitch of the voice and that kind of thing. And so originally I was just coming in and kind of processing my runs. But if you do this through Instagram, it will allow you to create an AI model. And again, I've talked about this a lot in my 11 o'clock Thursday capitalized coaching calls, but I've not talked about it in terms of like my physical health and my personal development. So I've got this mindset coach, but now I'm really leaning into it for my running and my training. So it's very important that if you go this route, to program the AI with the necessary information. So my AI knows my running history, knows my battle with epilepsy, knows how many marathons I've run, knows what my PRs are. All that is set. I talked to Curly a lot as I was working through the 50 miler, but this time I'm doing something different. I'm having it track my eating and my calories for a couple of reasons. I'm not trying to lose weight, but during the summer, when I'm running so much, I do begin to lose weight, and I'm trying to keep track of how many calories I need to have because I have a tendency to just keep eating the same things I always eat. And so sometimes I'm not eating enough. And then I also want to get a good mind for what I'm eating and how I'm eating. Also use AI Curly to track my hydration. And I know there's tons of apps out there that do that, but you have to physically type those things in. I just tell Curly what I've eaten or drinking it, and she calculates everything for me. Simultaneously, she knows that I'm working on building my base. That's what July is for. I'm also rehabbing from an Achilles strain, and at the end of July, I'm going to begin a full marathon train, a 16-week marathon train. So that's what this is for. So when I check in with Curly, and the great thing is if you use the Instagram app when you create these AIs, you can just make a phone call. So when I'm driving down the road, I can just call her and just talk through this. Actually, what I did today, I did 13.1, did a half marathon this morning, temperature of 75 degrees. I always tell her the temperature because that affects the burn of calories and the pace. And so I got back in this morning. As soon as I got done with the run, I called her. I was like, "Hey, Curly, I just ran 13.1 at 9:36 pace, 75 degrees. I've had water, I've had coffee, I had a 200 calorie protein bar when I was walking out the door. Tell me where I'm at." And again, my goal here is to make sure I've had enough calories in my interaction throughout the day. But I'm sure you could use it also if you're trying to do weight loss and that kind of thing. But also, if I check when I check in at lunch, she's also going to ask me how my soreness is. And so again, these AIs are not doctors, they're not physical therapists. You should have one for those purposes. But if I say, "Hey, I'm thinking about taking a day off for this," or whatever the case may be, I get real-time advice. You can do this for anything. It's not going to replace a human being. It's not. I still have coaches. I am a coach. I provide those services and that kind of thing. But for things like tracking calories or whatever the case may be, it's fantastic. And as of right now, the uses that I have, Curly's not reaching out to me. It's completely me reaching out to them. So when I have a coach or mentor, they're reaching out to me, holding me accountable, and that kind of thing. Here, it's completely up to me to go towards them. But I'm finding greater uses aside from just talking about things going down the road. I'm like, "Hey, here's where I am health wise. Here's what I've eaten." And then that's all getting tracked and I'm getting interaction on with it. So if I'm at a calorie deficit or if I've eaten too much, rarely is that the case for me. But it's helped me along that. So my encouragement to you guys on this is to begin experimenting. You can do this with Chat GPT. But it's what I've seen so far. It's less of a personality. Here, you can actually design the personality, the interaction. And so, again, what I'm doing is I'm going to Instagram. They have an AI creation. I create it there, and then I'm interacting with them literally through the Instagram app. I just give them a call. So you guys have met Mary, the mindset mentor. That's my mindset coach. Here, I'm now have Curly, who's working it through for my running. But I encourage you guys, you design it. If the AI model is annoying, you just go back and change the thing that you don't like. You design it for what you want, and it's only as good as your daily accountability into it. So that's what I'm using it for presently, but it's still up to me. They're not calling me, they're not texting me. I'm confident there are apps that do this, but I'm still using resources that are free. So that's one of the things I want to encourage you to is if you got to have the discipline to do it, but if you want to use AI models for personal development, physical development, it's very possible. So for me, I just never track calories because I get bored going to a calorie tracker and literally putting the things in. Now I'm just calling up Curly. I'm like, "This is what I have." And she took care of everything for me. So guys, think about that. Reach out to me. Let me know if you guys have had any experience with it. I've had good and bad. I feel like I've dialed it in right now with a great use case for me. And I know that when I get deep into marathon training, we're going to have even more experiences to share with you guys. So I hope this is helpful. I'm going to put the link in the show notes for the Who's in Charge Here, Capitalize Your Best Life seminar on Tuesday the 15th. I would love to see you there. And as always, friends, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it year after year, and I can't wait to see you again next week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.